Good afternoon and welcome to yet another live session on microwave and antennas. So we are in module one and we are discussing about transmission line, right? So in yesterday's session, we have seen why do we need to go for distributed uh, circuit theory approach while solving transmission line problems or microwave circuits. And we have seen what is transit time effect. We even try to like visualize the notions of frequency, time period, wave, how a wave propagates, right? We have seen the analogy between time period and wavelength, and we have seen the phase constant beta, right? And which is analogous to our radial velocity omega, right? So all those aspects we have seen, and after that we have seen what is a transmission line, different types of transmission line, that is coaxial cable, two at parallel wires, and right strip lines, right, and waveguides. All those are different types of transmission line, and whichever be the transmission line I told, we'll be representing it symbolically as two long parallel wires, right? So we'll be representing it as two long parallel wires, right? And in between these two wires, we assume there is a dielectric, right? If it is a lossless transmission line, the dielectric has to be a perfect dielectric, and also the conducting wires have to be perfect conductors, right? Otherwise, we'll call it a lossy dielectric. Okay, we'll see, right? And also the assumption is, right, I'm placing the transmission line along z-axis, right? And I have my source at actually what? Z is equal to 0, and load at Z is equal to L. And then this was the assumption, right? Sorry. And we have seen how I just explained, and we tried to visualize how a wave propagate along transmission line. The effect voltage and current, it actually what propagates at the speed of light. If the medium between this is air or a perfect dielectric, it will propagate at a speed of light in free space, right? Otherwise, depending upon the mu and epsilon value of this dielectric, the velocity of propagation will change, right? So all those aspects we have discussed, right? Then finally, we were discussing about the equivalent circuit representation, right? So as this transmission line, right, is very long, right, and the frequency which we are considering is very high, and in turn the wavelength is very low, comparable to the dimension of our transmission line or any components which we are using, right? At any given time, if you see, there will be, right, if you take a snapshot of voltage or current, right, at any given time, you can see it varies along the length. So we can't assume, right, the voltage or current or the conductor which is used in transmission line as a perfect short circuit, right? We can't assume that, right? So in order to overcome that problem, right, I told we can consider a very small length, delta Z, right? As I've placed it along z-axis, right, I'm calling it delta Z, right? A very small length. This delta Z is much less compared to lambda, and ideally, right, for the assumption which I'm going to discuss now to be true, this delta Z should be actually what? Infinitesimally small. It should almost tend to 0. Then what happens is, if you consider that very small length, the variation of voltage or current along the length is negligible. You can assume the current or voltage to be constant, right, throughout that very small length. So then we can come up with a equivalent circuit, right, for that, right? So if at all I want to represent this small part using an equivalent circuit, what and all components should be considered, right? That was what we were discussing yesterday, right? So what we have a current carrying conductor, right? We have a current carrying conductor. If a conductor is carrying current, for instance, a conductor which carries current in this direction, there will be a magnetic field, right, in this direction, right? So circulating this wire, there will be a magnetic field. So this can be what represented using an inductor, right, L, right? And also, right, I'm not interested in the total inductance or total resistance or total capacitance. I am interested in inductance per unit length, how this inductance is distributed over the transmission line. So if in our discussion, we'll be considering a uniform transmission line. A uniform transmission line means the composition of dielectric, between these two uh, conducting plates, it is the same everywhere, right? And it's the same everywhere, and also the spacing between these two are same. So what I can assume is, if you consider these parameters, inductance or capacitance or resistor per unit length, right, or line density of these parameters, it will be same everywhere. So that is a uniform transmission line. So I'm interested. So this L, right, L, if I represent L, that is actually what a very basic primary distributed parameter, right? It is inductance per unit length. So its unit will be Henry per meter. So similarly, the conductor which we are assuming, right? If it is an ideal conductor, right, the conductance is infinity and the resistance will be zero. But basically, what happens is, any material, it will have the conductance won't be infinity. The conductance will be finite. So because of that, there will be, if I'm considering this, there will be some resistor, right? So that resistance I have to consider. That will be that resistance should be there. Again, I'm using capital R, and it's not resistance in ohm as such. It will be resistance per unit length, ohm per meter, right? And similarly, we have two parallel conducting wires, and if I induce some positive charge on the top wire, it will induce a equal but opposite negative charge, and there will be an electric field like this. So it constitutes actually what, a sort of capacitance, right? So the electric field between these two, right, it can be, right, modeled using a capacitor, a parallel capacitor, right, capacitance C, and it's actually what, not total capacitance as such, capacitance per unit length. So it is actually what, farad per meter. And one more thing, what I told is the dielectric in between, right? The dielectric in between, right? We ideally, we need it to be a perfect insulator. That is, its resistance should be infinity or conductance should be zero, so that there is no conduction current or leakage current between these two wires. But most of the time what happens is, the dielectric which we use, it may not be a perfect dielectric, right? It will have its own permeability and permittivity or whatever, right? So it may not be a perfect dielectric, right? So what happens is, there will be resistance will be finite. So if resistance is finite, right, conductance, which is equal to 1 by resistance, there will be some finite conductance or finite resistance. Because of that, there will be some leakage current. So that can be modeled as a conductance. The symbol is actually what, it's that of a resistor only, right? So I'll call it actually what, G. It is nothing but what, mho per unit length or Siemens per unit length. It's conductance per unit length, mho per meter. So these are primary constant, primary distributed parameters of a transmission line, right? So now we would just, this is a small portion of length delta Z, right? So I'm just trying to zoom this part, this small part, I'm just trying to zoom and see, right? So then what we can do is, we can represent that small portion, right, using the following equivalent circuit. There are different ways. You can either go for a T representation or pi representation, whatever, right? But for our in our discussion, I'll be considering the T representation, which I'll be drawing here, right? So this is a, right. So suppose this point, it is, I already told, we are placing the transmission line along Z axis. The source will be there at Z equal to 0, and load will be there at Z equal to L. And any given point, the position of any given point, I'll be actually what, referring it as Z, right? Some Z will be distance from the source, and unless otherwise specified, right? When I say Z, that is actually what, distance from the source point, that is Z equal to 0, right? But later on, when we are discussing about reflection coefficient and all, we'll start considering actually what, distance from the load end, right? So, but unless otherwise specified, right, you assume, right, for the time, for this first part, right, you assume the distance Z is distance from source end, right? So how we can model is, there is actually what, as I told, we have resistance, right, because of the finite conductivity of the conductor, right? And also we have inductor, right, inductor due to the magnetic field, right? And these two, this capacitance and this conductance should come in parallel, right? So this capacitance and this conductance, it can be represented like this. Right, so it can be represented like this. Now, these are actually what parameters per unit length, right? Maybe line densities of these parameters. So if you consider a length delta z, so this much distance is actually what delta z. So what will be the resistance within a length delta z? So the resistance line density is actually what R ohm per meter. So per meter it is R. So for delta z meter it will be actually what R into delta z, and inductance will be L into delta z. This conductance will be G into delta z, and capacitance will be C into delta z. Right. So and this point, right, this point is actually z, and this point is actually what the distance of this point from the source is z, and the distance of this point from the source will be z plus delta z, right? And the current at this port, right, if you consider it as a port, right, at this port the voltage is v of z comma t. At v of z comma t, there are two arguments within this bracket. The first one, it is actually what the distance, and second one is the time. And please keep note that I have used small letter v, not capital letter V, right? So small letter v is actually what the real instantaneous voltage, right? That is voltage as a function of space and time, right? That is small v of z comma t, and the current here is actually what I can tell I of z comma t. And similarly, the voltage at this node will be, or voltage across this will be v of z plus delta z comma t. That is voltage at a distance z plus delta z from origin at a given time t, right? This is the voltage, right? And current, right? The current here will be I of z plus delta z comma t. All are small letters, so please do keep that in mind. So this is a equivalent lumped circuit representation of a transmission line, right, over which this R, L, G, and C's are distributed along the length, right? So we are not interested in total resistance of the entire transmission line, total parameters of the entire transmission line as such, but we are interested in like parameters within a small length delta z. And this assumption, right, this approximation is valid only when this delta z tends to 0. If this delta z is infinitesimally small, then only we can use this assumption. Then only the voltage or current distribution along this length will be same, right? Otherwise, if the length which we are considered is larger, right, or comparable to lambda, there will be significant variation of voltage and current. So this is one thing which you want to appreciate, right? So this is a equivalent circuit representation of a transmission line, and we can assume a very long transmission line as cascades of these equivalent circuits. So that is the equivalent circuit representation, right? Now in today's session, our agenda is, right, we have to obtain a transmission line equation in real instantaneous and phasor form. So when I say real instantaneous, right, as the name suggests, the quantity will be real, and instantaneous means it can give the instantaneous variation of it will be a function of z and t, time and space. So normally real instantaneous value I'll represent using small v z comma t and small I z comma t, right? Or maybe as it is obvious that it's function of z and t, we'll represent it using small v and small I, right? Real instantaneous we'll represent it as actually what small v and small I, whereas phasors I'll represent as actually what v of z and I of z. Phasor, it won't be a function of time, right? Maybe real, you know how to convert a real instantaneous quantity to phasor quantity. You might have already studied that, right? So in phasor quantity, right, it's actually what, it's a function of only z. We are suppressing the time factor, and mostly this phasor, it's actually what, it's a complex quantity, right? It's a complex quantity. It will have a magnitude and phase, right, or a real part and imaginary part or whatever, right? So we have to obtain the transmission line equation in both real instantaneous and phasor form. So in today's session, we'll try and obtain the transmission line equation in real instantaneous form, right? And maybe tomorrow we'll obtain the phasor form and further we'll proceed to solve transmission line equation. So before that, what actually is this transmission line equation? In electromagnetics, you have already studied about wave equation, right? So if I ask you what is wave equation in free space, you may straight away tell it's actually what. Suppose you have a electromagnetic wave which has electric field directed along x and magnetic field directed along y, and which is propagating along z, right? The wave equation in free space means it's right, permeability is mu naught, permittivity is epsilon naught. The wave equation in free space will be given by, for electric field it is dou square Ex by dou z square is equal to mu naught epsilon naught dou square Ex by dou t square, right? So this was actually what wave equation. So if you solve this wave equation, it would have given you the instantaneous values, so transient solution of this electric field. Similarly, for magnetic field, you had dou square hy by dou z square is equal to mu naught epsilon naught dou square hy by dou t square. So these a transmission line equation is actually what, it's something similar to what wave equation. Wave equation was describing the wave propagation, the real instantaneous values of or variation of electric and magnetic field in space and time, right? In transmission line equation, it will describe the variation of voltage and current, right, along the length of the transmission line at any given time, right? So this is what you have to keep in mind, is it is a second order partial differential equation. This transmission line equation will be a second order partial differential equation in space and time, and it will be applicable. If you solve that, you will get instantaneous transient values of V and I. So we'll have two transmission line equations, one for V and one for say I current, right? So when I say real instantaneous, I'll obtain it as actually what, function of V of z comma t and I of z comma t, partial differential equation of V of z comma t and I of z comma t. In phasor, it will be function of V of z and I of z. So V of z, instead of V of z and I of z, I may write capital V and capital I, right? So this is what we are going to do next. That for that, you should be comfortable with this equivalent representation of this transmission line. So are you okay with this? Shall I proceed further? If you have any doubt, please feel free to ask. Right, so far, if you have any doubt, please feel free to ask. If you don't have any doubt, please do type it in chat window. Right. If you have doubt also, please. You can either unmute and ask or else type in chat window. If no doubt, you can type no doubt. So we haven't discussed much, right? Just the basic thing, right? But if you're comfortable with this, only then you will be able to appreciate whatever I'm going to discuss next, right? So doubt, yes or no, right? If no doubt, please do type it in, right? I want you people to respond. Yes. Okay. Yeah, Kaveshri had replied. Yeah, so we'll proceed further. Right. Now, what we have to do is we have to obtain transmission line equation. It's something like, right, the wave equation we obtain. And for this, we'll be making use of this. So transmission line equation, it has to be a second order partial differential equation, right? Upon solving which, we will get V and I as a function of Z and T, right? If it is real instantaneous. If it is phasor, we'll get capital V and capital I as a function of Z. And always, once we obtain the phasor solution, we can convert it back into real instantaneous. So for solving transmission line equation, we'll be considering the phasor form, right? So we'll have to derive in both real instantaneous and phasor forms, but to solve the transmission line equation, I'll be considering only the phasor form, right? So, okay, now what I need is I need to get some equations which will tell me how voltage and current will vary across this transmission line, right? So for that, when if I consider a very small length delta z, right, as delta z tends to 0, right, I can approximate it to be a lumped circuit, and I can apply the tools which I have learned for the lump circuit. For instance, I can write a KVL, I can use KVL, KCL, right? So now what I'm going to do is for this particular loop, I'm going to write KVL equation for this particular loop, right? So for that, the voltage, right, here it is actually what V of Z comma T, it is minus plus, right? And there will be some voltage drop across this resistor. That will be actually what, like this plus minus. And across the inductance, right, there will be some voltage, right? So that is again plus minus, right? So, and here the voltage is actually what, voltage across this entire combination, it is actually what, V of Z plus delta Z comma T. So with those things in mind, right, I'm going to apply KVL, right? I'm writing KVL equation so that I'll that is the point where I'll start my derivation, right? So how to write KVL equation? So in this case, right, only this this is actually voltage gain. In according to me, my convention is I'll consider voltage gain as positive and voltage drop as actually what, negative. So I'll write KVL like this: V of Z comma T. This is equal to, right. So R delta Z, this is the total resistance, and the current flowing is I of Z comma T. So I'll write R times delta Z into I of Z comma T, right? I of Z comma T. So this is a drop across the resistance, right? Plus there will be voltage developed across the inductance, right? So that is given by L dou I by dou T. Why I am using the partial differential? Normally you have studied L di by dt, right? L di by dt. There, right, in lump circuit theory, right, current, it was a function of only time. So across a conductor, right, current was not varying with respect to what distance. But here you have to see current and voltage both are function of Z and T. So if I'm interested in variation of current with respect to time, I should go for partial derivative, right? If I'm going for total derivative, you have to keep in mind Z and T, right, both are coupled. Variation along Z and T are coupled, so then it becomes actually what, complicated. That won't give the result. I'm interested in, right, inductance time rate of change of current, right? So for that, I'll be using dou I by dou T. So it is L delta Z, that is the inductance, times dou by dou T of I of Z comma T. So that is actually what, voltage across inductance, plus, right, I have this voltage across, this is actually what, V of Z plus delta Z comma T. So I'll write that V of Z plus delta Z comma T, right? I request everyone to write it down along with me, right? So, right, even though you may find at times, you may feel it's simple, but you have to write it down, you have to practice, otherwise you're going to make mistakes, right? So this is the KVL equation. Now what I want to do is, I told that I have some delta Z terms here, right? I need to get rid of that. And also I told this, whatever this KVL equation I have written, it will be true or it will be valid only when delta Z is approaching 0. So what I should also do is, I should also apply limit delta Z tends to 0, so that the whatever assumption we have made, it stands valid, right? So, and I have to get rid of this delta Z, right? For that, what I'm doing is I'm dividing with delta Z, right? So I'll call it equation number 1, right? I'll divide the equation. I'll rearrange it, right? So what I'll do is I'll rearrange, or else maybe I'm not skipping any steps. For this, I'll write the entire steps, right? So maybe I'll write the entire. Initially, I'll rearrange, right? I'll rearrange it as V of Z plus delta Z comma T minus V of Z comma T, right? This is equal to, right, what I'll get is minus R delta Z into I of Z comma T plus, sorry, it's again minus L delta Z into dou by dou T of I of z comma t. Now I have these delta z's everywhere. I have to get rid of that. For that, what I am doing is I'll divide it with delta z, right? So divide with delta z, and also after dividing whatever expression I am getting, and I'll apply the limit delta z tends to 0. So then only, right, the expression what I have written will be valid, right? So what I'll get is limit delta z tends to 0. So here on left hand side, if I divide with delta z, what I'll get is v of z plus delta z comma t minus v of z comma t divided by delta z, right? This is equal to, on right hand side, these delta sets simply will get cancelled, right? And what will be left out was r into I of z comma t and L into dou by dou t of I of z comma t. I don't have any delta z here. Delta z term only not there. So as far as delta z is concerned, these terms are independent of delta z. So if I apply limit delta z tends to 0, it's not going to make any difference. So I'll write it as such, right? So it will be r into I of z comma t plus, so minus r into I of z comma t minus L into dou by dou t of I of z comma t, right? So this is what I got, but you can see what is there on the left hand side, right? So suppose along the transmission line there is some voltage variation, right? This is voltage at the point at a distance z from the transmission line, at the set from the source, and this is the voltage at a distance z plus delta z, right? So now what you are doing is v of z plus delta z minus v of z minus t. We are considering variation, difference between voltages at these 2 points across a length of delta z, right, by delta z. So what actually is this? This is nothing but what? Slope or derivative of voltage with respect to z. And this is how derivative is defined, right? It's actually what it's, I can easily rewrite. If I this limit, upon applying this limit, it becomes actually what? Dou vzt divided by dou z, right? So this left hand side becomes this, that is equal to minus r I into z comma t minus L dou by dou t of I z comma t. And of course, whatever small v's and small i's, it's obvious that these are functions of z and t. So in order to simplify, right, make it less complicated, what I can do is I can just omit this argument. But what I'm going to do is, instead of v of small v of z comma t, I'll be writing only v, and small I of z comma t, I'll be writing only small I. But you have to keep in mind, the small I and small v, they are functions of z and t. That thing should be kept in mind. But for simplicity, otherwise, when I am writing big expression, right, it's going to be what difficult. Every time I have to repeat this argument z comma t. So I'll rewrite it as dou v by dou z is equal to minus ri minus L dou I by dou t, right? So we are getting an equation, right? It's actually what? A coupled equation, right? It's, there is dou v by dou z and current also. But finally, I need to get an equation only in v or only in I. That should be my transmission line equation. But this coupled equation which I got, normally this is actually called telegraphist equation. Right, telegraphist equation. In fact, this particular equation was used, right, to model the telegraph line, right? So there was an underwater telegraph line, transatlantic telegraph line. So to mathematically model that, this particular equation was used. That's why it's called actually what? Telegraphist equation, right? So it's not a simple, it's not simply what some equation. It has some significance, right? It has some, maybe I'll call it equation number 2, right? It has some significance, right? Maybe I'll just multiply on both sides with minus. So I'll get minus dou v by dou z plus ri plus L dou I by dou t, right? So what is the significance of, what is this dou v by dou z? Dou v by dou z is nothing but what? Voltage variation along z. So there is a transmission line placed along positive z axis, right? As I move along z, right, how the voltage is changing, rate of change of V with respect to Z, right, or variation of voltage with respect to Z, it is attributed by Ri. This is nothing but what? Drop across the resistor, right? Drop across the resistor plus L dou I by dou T. It is actually what? Voltage developed across the inductor, right? This inductor will save some of the energy. So because of that, voltage will be developed across that, and there will be a voltage drop across the resistor, right? That is the meaning of this particular equation. It's not like some like useless equation. It has a very beautiful meaning, right? So voltage variation is attributed by drop across resistance and voltage developed across the inductor. That is the meaning of this. So now we have a coupled equation. Coupled means we have both V and I, right? So coupled equation in voltage, which gives voltage variation with respect to Z, right? It's a function of Ri. It's a combination of Ri and L dou I by dou T, right? So now I can obtain similar equation for dou I by dou Z if I can apply KCL for this node. So that's what I'm going to do next, right? So I'm going to, like, I'll just redraw the equivalent diagram once again. Sorry. Right. I'll redraw it. This is R delta Z, L delta Z, C delta Z, and G delta Z. Right. If I name this node as node A, right? If I name this as node A, right? So the current entering this node, that is I of Z comma T, right? This is the same current, right? So current entering this node is I of Z comma T, right? And maybe I told the current leaving this node will be towards the next segment. It will be right towards the segment with I of Z plus delta Z comma T. And there is one more current component, which is actually what? Leaving the node, right? So this will actually what? Pass across the capacitance, like parallelly, which is, and this conductance, right? So these two currents are also there. So only one current is entering, all other currents are leaving. So I'm going to apply actually what? KCL at node A. I'm going to apply KCL at node A, right? So if I apply KCL at node A, my convention is I'll assume current entering as positive and current leaving as negative. You can consider anyhow you want, right? So I'm considering like that. So if I write KCL equation, I'll get I of Z comma T. It will be equal to, right? So what will be current through this capacitor, right? It's given by C dou V by dou T, right? Current through the capacitor is given by C dV by dt, right? Or here C dou V by dou T. So what is the voltage across the capacitor? That is nothing but what? Voltage across this, that is V of Z plus delta Z comma T, right? So I can write this, and there is a conductance here, right? So voltage across this is V of Z plus delta Z comma T. You know, I is equal to V by R, right? So this 1 by R is nothing but what? G. So it is V into G. So don't confuse it with this serial resistance, right? I have written some resistance, which is the resistance of the dielectric between the conductors, right? So I can write it as Vg, right? V into G, right? So that is G delta Z times V of Z plus delta Z comma T, right? G delta Z into V of Z plus delta Z comma T. That is this current, right? Then current through the capacitor will be C delta Z times, right, dou by dou T of the voltage across the capacitance. That is nothing but what? V of Z plus delta Z comma T, right? And one more current component which is leaving, it is actually what? I of z plus delta z, comma t. So I have this equation, I'll call it equation number 3, right? Now again, I'll rearrange it, right? So what I know I have to do, I have to rearrange, right? Divide with delta z and apply limit delta z tends to 0. I'm going to what, do all the steps in a single line, right? So we have already done that. It's similar, same thing, right? So I'll just write down here, right? I'll rearrange divide with delta z, and I'll take limit delta z tends to 0. All these steps I'll combine into a single step, right? So what I'll get is I'll get limit delta z tends to 0, limit delta z tends to 0, I of z plus delta z, comma t minus I of z comma t divided by delta z, right? This is equal to, right? Now these will become negative. Now there is a problem. We have z plus delta z is there, right? In this term also delta z is there. So I have to apply limit, right? So it is limit delta z tends to 0, right? G delta z by delta z, that delta z will get cancelled. So it is G into V of z plus delta z, comma t, right? And this entire thing is minus, right? And then minus limit delta z tends to 0. You can see C delta z by delta z get cancelled. So it is C times dou by dou t of V of z plus delta z, comma t, right? So this is what we have, right? Now you can, this left hand side, right, we can write as dou I z comma t, right? I'll write dou by dou z of I of z comma t. Of course I would have omitted the z comma t, maybe later I'll do, right? This is equal to, right, what will happen if you apply limit delta z tends to 0 in this? The only term having delta z is actually what, z plus delta z, right? It's that argument, right? So when delta z is almost 0, what happens? Z and z plus delta z, both points will merge, both will become same point. So which means I can write it as minus G V of z comma t, and this one also minus C dou by dou t of V of z comma t, right? As derivative and limit both are actually what, linear operators, I can interchange them, right? So limit of delta z tend to 0 dou by dou t of V of z plus delta z comma t, it is actually what, C dou by dou t of V of z comma t, right? So this is what we got now. Then again, just like how we did for the voltage equation, right? I'm going to rewrite it. I'll write dou minus dou I by dou z is equal to GV plus C dou V by dou t. This is another actually what, coupled telegraphist equation, right? It will give you the variation of current, right? Space rate of change of current, right? Of course it's coupled with voltage, right? It will give you space rate of, how can you interpret this? What is the significance of this? What is the physical meaning of this particular equation? Right? Maybe I'll call it equation number 4, right? It should be equation number 4, I guess, right? So what is the physical significance of this particular equation? It simply means, right, the reduction or change in current when I move along positive z direction of transmission line, it is attributed by this GV. GV is nothing but what, the current passing through the conductor or the leakage current, right? A part of it will be actually what, leaked, right? And also, right, there is some current, right? It is actually what, displacement current, which is passing through the capacitance. Capacitance stores energy, right? Which means there is an electric field between the plates, which means there is actually what, displacement current existing, right? So the current through the capacitor, right? So this is the meaning of this. So as you move along positive z, the current changes, right? And the change in current is attributed by the leakage and also the current through the capacitor, right? So this is telegraphist equation in of which implies the rate of space rate of change of current. Again, these are coupled equation. What I need is I need to get equation only in V or only in Z, right? But for that, right, now that we obtain this telegraphist equation, the further step, it's very simple. So meanwhile, I'll pause here for some time, right? And I would like to ask if anyone has any questions, any doubts, right? I hope all of you are taking it down. So maybe what I'll do is I would just ask, okay, Aishwarya, could you please
Yes,
could you please show your note, right? You just switch on the camera and show the note what you have written. Right?
yes, sir.
I just want to make sure you are able to take down, right? My
Yes,
page
sir.
is, yeah, please. Could you please show that? One second. Yeah, you are able to take down everything,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Even there are certain explanations, right? Okay, thank you, thank you. You can just close your camera, right? So I'm giving you certain explanations which I'm not writing it on actually what my OneNote, right? But I would highly recommend, right, you to note it down in your own language, right? So that definitely it will help you for maybe after some time, right? When you are seeing, you may not get why this step, right? So such explanations also, if you take down, so this becomes actually what you, whatever the lecture note becomes your complete study material, right? So same thing, right? You just see the difference. If you have a note taken down by on your own, right? What difference it makes for your exam preparation, right? Not only for exam preparation, your overall understanding also, I bet it will be better, right? So okay, thank you. So any doubt so far? Any doubt in this? So what we have obtained so far is we obtained two partial differential equations. One is minus dou v by dou z. What was that? Minus dou v by dou z is equal to ri, sorry, and dou z is equal to ri plus l dou I by dou t. So this was equation number 2. And the other one is the one which you can see, which you're seeing here, minus dou I by dou z is equal to gv plus c dou v by dou t. So this is equation number 4. Now we have to further move ahead and obtain the transmission line equation, right? So transmission line equation, as I told, it should be a second order partial differential equation of only v or only I, but here these telegraphist equation are actually what coupled equations, right? So somehow from this equation, right, if I can get rid of this I and dou I by dou t, right? Is there any means whether I know I in terms of v, do I have any expression of I in terms of v? It's not available. Even dou I by dou t, I don't know what is that, right? So for that, we'll use some trick, right? That trick is nothing but what? Now to obtain, okay, I'll write it here. Maybe you have like to obtain real instantaneous transmission line equation in voltage, right? Sorry, in of voltage, not in, right? Transmission line equation of voltage. What I should do is, right, first, right, I'll differentiate equation number 2 with respect to z, right? So I'm writing it like this, right? So you can write it in words in your book. Differentiating equation number 2 with respect to z, right? First I'll do that. So if I differentiate equation number 2 with respect to z, what I'll get? It is already dou v by dou z. Once again, if I differentiate, take partial derivative of dou v by dou z with respect to z, it will be minus dou square v by dou z square. It will be minus dou square v by dou z square, right? And okay, maybe I'll just multiply on both sides with minus. So this becomes actually what? Plus. This is equal to minus r dou I by dou z, right? Minus r dou I by dou z, right? Then minus L. What is dou by dou z of dou I by dou t? Dou by dou z of dou I by dou t, it will become actually what? Dou square I by dou z dou t, right? So I can write it here. It becomes dou square I by dou z dou t. You don't have to write panic by seeing the second order partial differential equation. Nothing, right? It's very straightforward. Unfortunately, as we have capacitance and inductance in our circuit, right? It's obvious there will be differential equation, differential or integral will be there. That's why these are there. Otherwise, everything what we have discussed is very basics, right? I didn't tell a single word which you don't know, right? Everything is complete basics, right? So, okay. So now this is what we have. So I got actually what? Dou square V by dou Z square here, right? Okay, happy. This is what should be left-hand side of my transmission line equation, right? If you remember the wave equation, the left-hand side was dou square Ex by dou Z square. So similarly here, if it is wave equation in voltage, the left-hand side should be dou square V by dou Z square. But the problem is here again I have i's. I have dou I by dou Z. But do we know what is dou I by dou Z? Do we know what is dou I by dou Z? Can anyone give me an answer? Do we know what is dou I by dou Z? What is equation number 4? Equation number 4 as such gives me actually what is minus dou I by dou Z. Minus dou I by dou Z is GV plus C dou V by dou T. So here on the right hand side I have only voltage, right? So if I replace this dou I by dou Z using equation number 4, then I can get rid of this I, right? Dou I by dou Z, right? I can get rid of this I. Then again, my next question is I need to know what is dou square I by dou Z square. Do I know what is dou square I by dou Z square? Do I know that? No, we don't know. So in step 1, what we did is we differentiated equation number 2 with respect to Z and we got this, right? In this, right, if I can make a substitution, if I apply 4 in this, I can get rid of this dou I by dou Z. So if I have to get rid of this dou square I by dou Z dou T, right, I need to know what is dou square I by dou Z dou T. And you see, if you differentiate equation number 4 with respect to T, what you will get? So that is step 2, right? So we need to get we need to know what is dou square I by dou Z dou T. For that you differentiate, right? So step 2 I'll write differentiate equation number 4 with respect to T, right? Differentiating equation number 4 with respect to T, what we'll get? Again, I'll multiply on both sides with minus. So this becomes actually what? Dou square I by dou Z dou T, right? This is what I need, right? This is what I need. And if you see on right hand side, we have only V. So it's not a problem. So it is minus G. Oh, no, no need actually. I'll keep it minus only, right? I'll keep it minus only, right? So it is plus G, right? Plus G dou V by dou T, right? Then plus C dou square V by dou T square. So now I got what is minus dou square I by dou Z dou T. I got this. I can apply this here, right? So I'll call this equation number say 6, right? And this equation number 5, right? So now what I have to do is in equation 5, step 3 is, right, to get step 3 is, and final step is in equation 5, right? In equation 5, what you do is you apply equation 4 and equation 6. What do you mean by apply equation 4 and equation 6? There is actually what one dou I by dou Z here in equation 5. You replace that with GV plus C dou V by dou T from equation 4, right? This minus dou I by dou Z replaced with GV plus C dV by dt. And there is another dou square O by dou square I by dou Z dou T here, right? Minus dou square I by dou Z dou T. You replace that with RHS of equation number 6. That's it, right? So hopefully that will give us the transmission line equation of voltage in real instantaneous form, right? So that's what we are going to do now. Right, so that's what we are going to do now. So equation number 5 is this, right? Equation number 5 is this, this, right? So here left hand side it's dou square V by dou Z square. This is equal to, right, R times what is dou I by dou Z? What is dou I by dou Z? Dou I by dou z is nothing but what? GV, right? So if you want, you can just go up and see, right? GV plus C dou V by dou T, equation number 4, right? GV plus C dou V by dou T, right? So that is dou square V by dou Z, dou I by dou T, right? As it is minus dou I by dou Z, right? I replace it with this, right? Then again plus L, what is minus dou square I by dou Z dou T? It is G dou V by dou T plus C dou square V by dou T square. Just make sure this V and I, whatever I am writing, all those are small letters, right? Right, that is a convention. Real instantaneous form should be small letters, right? So now we got this equation. Next, what we have to do is on right hand side, we have some V terms, 2 dou V by dou T terms and 1 dou square V by dou T square term. If we separate the coefficients of them and rearrange, right, we'll get the final wave equation, transmission line equation, that is dou square V by dou Z square, right? This is equal to only one term with V, that is Rg into V, plus there are two terms which has dou V by dou T, right? One is Rc into dou V by dou T, other one is Lg into dou V by dou T. So if I rearrange, it is Rc plus Lg into dou V by dou T, right? Rc plus Lg into dou V by dou T, plus there is only one term which has dou square V by dou T square, that is Lc into dou square V by dou T square, that is Lc into dou square V by dou T square. Yes, you can put it inside a box, and that is our much awaited transmission line equation, right? So this is equation number 7, right? This is equation number 7. That is our much awaited transmission line equation, right? So it's a, you can see it's a second order partial differential equation of Z and T, right? And we have only V in this, and if you solve this, you will get the transient solution for voltage as a function. If you solve, you will get voltage as a function of Z and time, or V you will get, right? If you solve this, right? It's applicable, it's right. So now, but if you remember, for free space, the wave equation was something like dou square Ex by dou Z square is equal to mu naught epsilon naught dou square Ex by dou T square, right? But it was straightforward, but we have additional terms also, right? But this was for actually what? Free space. A free space, it is actually what? The medium, it's actually perfect insulator. So similarly, if the space between transmission line is a perfect insulator or free air, right? Then if permeability is mu naught and epsilon naught, which means if it is a lossless line, right? So this was a lossless medium, right? This equation what we got. So similarly, if the line is lossless, if line is lossless, what happens is this R and G will become 0. I'll just tell what is that, right? That is the resistance, forward resistance will be 0. It will be a perfect conductor and there won't be any leakage current. That is, this will be a perfect insulator. So this G will be equal to 0 and R also will be equal to 0, right? So if you apply that, what will happen? I'll just, in 1 minute, I'll wind up. If you apply that, what we'll get is, right, this term will be 0, this term will be 0. Only what will be left for a lossless line, we'll get dou square V by dou Z square is equal to LC times dou square V by dou T square, right? So this is actually what transmission line equation for a lossless transmission line, right? Lossless line. Similarly, you can obtain the equation for current, right? What you should do is you just reverse these. You do dou by dou Z of 4 and dou by dou T of 2 and apply same thing. So I give it as a homework, right? Just try to find out the similar equation for current, right? Try to find out similar equation for current, right? So this is right. People used to think this is one of the most critical or difficult subject, but I don't think so, right? We didn't discuss any rocket science, right? Only thing is that these equations have second order partial differentials, right? And it's a little bit lengthy, and we have this z comma t blah blah blah. Other than that, right, it's only right, if you know the equivalent circuit, if you can apply KVL, KCL, and do some rearrangement, you will get this, right? Do some rearrangement, you will get this, right? So this is what is real instantaneous form of transmission line equation, right? So now, any doubt in this? Any doubt? Right. If you have any doubt, please feel free to ask, or later on you can ask. Right. I've posted this note in Canvas. I posted it in Canvas. Right. You can, if you missed out anything, you can just refer that as well. Right. But if you have your own note, right, that is going to be, that field is going to be different. Right. So now, any doubt? You have to type yes or no. Is it clear or not? I know maybe if you may have to take some time, right? Or else I'll ask a question on a scale of 1 to 10. Avin, you can switch off your video. Yeah. Or else if you want to tell something, you can tell. Right. You can switch off the video. Yeah, okay, fine. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the difficulty level of this particular topic? Deriving transmission line equation in real instantaneous form. Right. Please, all of you should type. You have to rate the difficulty level. Maybe, okay, if you spend some more time, you will be able to appreciate it. Some might have already understood it, right? I try to explain each and every step and each and every assumptions and the reason behind it. I try to mention, right? Please, why you people are idle, right? Please do type in on a scale of 1 to 10. How would you rate the difficulty? 10 being the most difficult, 1 being easiest. Please do type in. I need you people to, right? So it's already time, right? You have class next hour. Okay, maybe next class I'll catch hold. Elvin, 4. Thank you, Elvin. Yeah, 4, 6. Yeah, it's happy to know that it's not that difficult. Thank you. Thank you for typing in. Right. Now what you can do is you can just type in your USN. I'm not spending time by taking attendance. Just type in your USN. Right. And that will be, I'll consider that chat transcript as attendance, and you can leave the class, right, after typing in USN. You don't have to type your name. If your profile name is same as that of your name, you don't have to type your name. Just type your USN. USN also, last 2 numbers. If you type, that would be sufficient. Last 3 numbers. Yeah. Last 3 numbers, if you type, that would be sufficient. So those who have given attendance can leave. Right. Thank you so much for joining. Right. We'll meet tomorrow. In tomorrow's class, we'll meet. We'll continue with the discussion. Yeah, you can leave. Those who are given attendance can leave. Yes, Ashwin and Abhilash, you can leave.